Hey, what's up? It's the Figure Hunter, and today we have a long-term review for the Velites Quad Ultra No Chalk hand grips, which I am a gargantuan fan of. Plus, it's just a chance to highlight the new backdrop. I'm obviously missing one picture here, and I put some new things back up there if you want to look at it and tell me what you think. And the last thing is I'm testing mic number 2 from the video I released yesterday to see if one of them has better sound quality. I surely hope it's not this one, because this one's a wired lapel mic and those things drive me crazy. So the Velites Quad Ultra No Chalk hand grip is absolutely thing it promised and more. These are $62, so they're not the cheapest hand grips by far, and I don't know if they come with these little, cushiony things, wrist sleeves anymore. Mine came with those, but a couple of situations happened in the last week. We had 2 workouts in the last week alone, which were heavy grip intensive, doing pull-ups and doing toes to bar. The first was 50, 40, 30 push-ups and pull-ups. You get through 50 and then get through 40 and get through 30 of each of those movements. And the second was just pure toes to bar, unbroken sets of 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, and then 1 for 1 time rest, and then 12, 10, 8, 6, 4. And in both those workouts, I beat everybody in the gym. And the only reason I think I beat everybody in the gym is not because of my skills, although those are comfortable movements for me. I absolutely 100% believe it's because of these hand grips. I feel like these took the weight off and carried some of my weight for those grip intensive exercises to where I could keep doing the movement, because the grips themselves felt like they were carrying, I would say, like 10 to 20% of my weight for me, just through the grip and wrapping around the bar. And I'm gonna look at these, so I wanna show you these again, because that's my final testament 11 months in, but I also want you to see the use or the lack of wear that's appeared over 11 months of only using these, never using chalk, not rotating with other things, still feeling functionally completely capable of all the hardest workouts even up to this last week. And you'll look at the wear and tear for yourself. I'll talk about some of the things that I don't like. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at all the generic grips on the market, just look at a few. I'm not gonna show you every single one that's out there, because there's a lot. And then we're going to talk about how these compare, and these are different and these are better, and maybe some of the things that are sort of the cons of these, and then we'll talk about it in general all together. Let's dive in. Or here you have the collection of all the different types of straps you could actually work with or come across. These are my original $10 when I first started CrossFit. They actually the ones that kind of hurt going between your fingers. They were just raw pieces of leather. I mean, obviously they would protect at some level, but as the leather gets wet, it gets scratchy, and so the insides actually turn out becoming scratchy. They have these tiny little bands, so you feel a lot more pull on your wrist, but those are the ones that most people don't even use anymore. So you have these are Bear Complex. These are the ones I used for a long period of time. I had the 2-hole, and then I went to the 3-hole. Now with the 2-hole, the primary problem, and then we'll talk about the primary problem on the design of these in general, is that actually when you wear this, if you're in a gym that's super hot and muggy like mine, you actually do have some skin exposure, and you can easily, and I did multiple times, wear little holes off to the side. Bear Complex, as well as a number of them like Victory Grips, offer a bunch of different kinds. These are the no holes, obviously, so you're just flapping it up there. And obviously if you're using the 2-hole or 3-hole, you would just put your fingers lightly in and then try to slap it down to help with the wrist strength maintaining through a long workout. A lot of toes to bar, things like that. You want to get a pull going in that direction where you're using the leather itself to help offload some of your grip strength required to hold your body weight up. So these were fine for a while. You can see that it wore down pretty heavily across the middle after a period of time, but more than that or worse than that, if you're doing a lot of sweating in leather, the type of leather that these use and pretty much all of them use, it dries out on the inside. So I would get like a blister across the whole middle of my hand because it was super scratchy on the inside. Same with 2-hole grips and the 3-hole grips. So the 3-hole grips help me to, not get that blister on the side there, but both of them just dried out because it just became a dry, crackly piece of leather. Additionally, the size of the grip around the wrist, where if you're getting a good slap and you're compressing the leather around the bar itself, so you're offloading or taking off some of the weight, so the leather itself is holding the weight of part of your body, then the diameter, or the thickness rather, the width of the strap around your wrist becomes more crucial. So if you have a small width to where it actually wraps around your wrist, you feel a lot more pull across like a one centralized section. And that's where you also have seen, I had one pair that tore right here when you were doing it correctly and carrying part of your weight. So that's where some of these have declined in the past. But the width here is actually a bigger function of what helps make it more comfortable when you're holding yourself up. So the main things that are a problem with the traditional leather grips is it does wear down over time. If you're using 2-hole, you do have hand exposure, but the main thing is that the leather gets dry and crackly on the inside, which are hot, sweaty, humid gems. You could easily scratch a blister across the whole middle of your palm. Plus they have narrow width around the wrap itself, which is going to become uncomfortable if you're using the grip itself to hold part of your weight up. So same thing is going to be on here's what they look like new. It's sort of the diamond grip, and it's soft to begin with, and it gets dry and crackly over time. They have these alternate ones that are out there, Wad and Done. This is like a piece of tape. You just put your fingers through there. It actually works great for not tearing your hand, but doesn't do anything to help maintain your grip strength. So those are the ones that are out there. And then we have the Velites, and the Velites, have been just unbelievable. It's been unlike anything I've tested or used. So I think they might sell these wristbands separate now. When I bought it as a backer or whatever, I got all of it as one package. I actually really like having these. You can use sort of the side of it to take off sweat, but it also just makes the whole experience more comfortable. So I would recommend getting these with them. But this is after 11 months of use. I have never once put chalk on it, never once, and have just used it over and over again. I am in North Carolina, and our box does not have real air conditioning, so it is super hot and sweaty. I use this for Murph, and as soaked and as drenched as they are, in 11 months, this is how the quality is. The inside suede or whatever, it feels like a fake suede. It's actually held up super, super soft. It has been functionally fantastic on the inside, and then the outside, this is after, we're doing some pulling motion off the rack at least 3 out of 5 workouts a week. And so this is after using these over and over again. I don't ever go barehanded unless it's just like sets of 5 strict pull-ups. So this is the maximum amount of wear that I've had, and I am carrying, I want to say 20% of my body weight just by flapping these down, and then they grip so tight, they hold 20 to 30 pounds, maybe 40 pounds just in the grip itself. So the whole thing being this one big piece, you could see like it's similar to the way they designed the no holes on those, but you just have this big flap, and it is like rubber. It's like rubber. It's the craziest thing ever. And it's the only reason why I think I'm beating other people in the gym is that my grip strength doesn't wear out. Not only does it help me functionally execute the movement, whether it's, bar muscle ups or pull-ups or toes to bar, it helps me also not reduce grip strength over a prolonged period of time. And then the thickness of the width of the area where it's wrapping around your wrist is broad, it's wide enough that it actually doesn't create much pull and tension on the wrist itself. It doesn't create a discomfort as much as the thinner ones do. So you're talking about a width difference of 75% wider. And then if you couple that with those, it actually makes it more comfortable. There's only one flaw or one issue to the Velites, and the first flaw was that I measured a large hand, and the large was too short. It was just like definitively too short. And so I think they've redesigned that to be longer, because when you have it in your hand, you need this lip. And this lip actually is really crucial, and it's really helpful for holding your body weight, is this little piece here, because you can get it around and it becomes like a clasp mechanism. It's really awesome, but you have to have it long enough to do so. So I went with the extra large, and I don't know what the extra large length is now, and I don't know what the large length is now. So extra large has been great for me. I have like excessive amounts of fabric. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. The only thing that it has a downside to that, so the first downside would be sizing. You want to make sure you get the right size and send it back if you feel like it's too short. Definitely don't go with something that's too short. But the problem with going something too long is that when your hand is up here, it's actually hard when you're jumping up, because it's so thick across the middle, which it protects your whole hand. You never have any problems. You can't get your thumb as easily around the bar. So if you're doing a thumbless, these are great, because that's really what's easiest to do it, because it's extra thick. I think that's probably actually the other issue, is that it's so thick, it's hard to jump up and just clasp your thumb around the bar itself. So those have been my issues. Outside of that, it has been unlike anything I've tested. I've never used chalk on it. It still holds super, super, super tight, and is still super, super comfortable on the inside and soft, and the pull across the wrist is great, and it's not actually wearing down that significantly with, I think, 11 months of use so far. So there you have it. Those are the Velites Quad Ultra No Chalk hand grips. After 11 months of use, you determine for yourself if that's much wear and tear, but I can tell you they still function perfectly, or exactly as they did on day one, and just as good all throughout that whole time period. $62, I think it's actually a huge deal, or a huge steal, because it affects so many movements in CrossFit, and they last well over a long period of time, and they don't have the same discomfort issues that others do. I do think you should get these. I don't know if these are more expensive or if $60 gets you both, but I would still get these because I think it's a good bundle. I wouldn't look, and this is my opinion, but I have fully tested the whole Bear Complex lineup. I've tested a lot of other knockoffs. There was one other one that was sort of mainstream that was the one that tore, threw those away, and they didn't replace them, so that was a bummer. I think these are still even better than Victory Grips, which a number of people in my gym like. I would say go with the Velites Quad Ultra No Chalk, and you'll be happy for the rest of your days. So it's the Fit Gear Hunter. Thanks so much for watching.